Good day, beautiful people. You are welcome once again to our favorite program, your favorite program, The Conversation, coming to you from TV 360 here in Lagos, Nigeria. My name is Nelson Ekujimi, and I have here with me in the studio today, Comrade Alhaji Razak Kolade Lokoba, popularly called Akio. Comrade Lokoba, you are welcome to the program.
Thank you very much. Good day.
Yeah, thank you for joining us once again on The Conversation.
It's a pleasure.
Yes, viewers, like we all know, The Conversation is a topical issues program in which there is no host. The two guests here, myself and Comrade Lokoba, we are both going to have a conversation on topical issues in Nigeria and in the diaspora. Top of the bill today, federal government issues flood alert to 30 states. In the course of last week, the federal government issued flood alert to about 30 states, and one expects, in view of our experience in 2012 and 2022, in which we had a massive flood. In 2012, the flooding was so, massive that it killed over close to 400 people by official records. And as we speak, the rains are here, and we all know what accompanies the rains. A lot of our people have built their houses on drainages. Thank God for the Lagos State government. We have seen the wonderful work that the Commissioner for Environment is doing, trying to reclaim those spaces that, makes for flooding of the city, even though we know we usually have flash floods. And as we speak, a lot of the environmental officers are out there in Lagos, making sure that the drains are free of obstacles that will allow for free flow of water. I remember in 2022, the flooding was so massive that it affected food supplies. And one of the dangers of flooding is that it could lead to outbreak of diseases and epidemics, like we saw in states like Kogi and Bayelsa. So now the federal government has issued this alert. What are the states? We have seen what Lagos State is doing. What are the states and local governments doing to ensure that they mitigate the disaster that has been foretold?
States is always slow to respond to issues, except very few states like Lagos. And that's why it is important for Nigeria to begin to be more searchlights on the activities of the state that will prevent them from paying attention to flood, security, and health education. So you wonder, what are the states doing if something as serious as environmental issue are not taken care of? So we have to compel all the governors that are affected to give us a roadmap, because the president has spoken. It then means that it takes federal government to remind them of their duty.
Of their
all the time.
Yes, all the time.
So now,
all the time.
That's what they are waiting for. It's important for them to act.
But Comrade Lokoba, don't you feel that this recurring decimal of the federal government always telling the states what to do is a reflection of even the mindset of the citizenry? When if a man fights with his neighbor, President Tinubu, we are fighting with my neighbor here. Meanwhile, there's a local government, there's a state. It is like people have taken away the sacrifice from them.
We approach issues of
governance
with too much docility. And even if the people are not saying anything, it's not part of the oath you signed in office that the welfare of the people is going to be very, very paramount.
Is the number one issue.
But you are right. We have to complement it. We are not supposed to wait until it happens. We know that environmental issue and climate change is a global challenge. We know,
Absolutely.
And the biggest culprit are the developed world.
Yes.
We are the one behind the brunt too.
Yes, and we contribute less than 5%.
Yeah, because to the challenge,
to the mess.
To the mess. The pamphlet, the ozone layer, and do all sorts of things, and acidic. So it's up to Nigerians now to decide whether we should wait and see what the rain will cause and the damage is going to cause before we begin to make noise. So the first thing that I think the governors should do now is to activate all sectors in the state to look at possibility of what damage the flood may cause and act. This is supposed to have been addressed by now, but it's not late. And we have to begin by serious advocacy around it, that don't put up any attitude that's going to be inimical to free flow of water when it rains. It has to be massive. Then all those statistics must demonstrate zero tolerance to lawbreakers. In fact, before that time comes, every culprit in the state, half of them should have been taken to court and penalized, because man-made is many of the reasons why we have this flash flood. People will build on Krana. People, when it is raining like this, it's a Christmas day for them. They will start packing foam, what they use in the house.
Yes.
To the extent that we see some people.
The drainage channels become a refuse dump
And
site.
it's on daily basis. So the government of all those 30 states must put up a clear-cut penalty for them. And before that time, there must be that consequence, so that when people see that there's a growing advocacy and there's a zero tolerance, we are going to stop.
Everybody is going to sit up.
Everybody is going to sit up.
According to the federal government, they said every rains and floods is expected in 30 states and the FCT Abuja. The high flooding states are Abia, Adamawa, Akwa Ibom, Cross River, Delta, Ebonyi, Edo, Gombe, Imo, Jigawa, Kebbi, Kogi, Kwara, Lagos. In fact, almost, if we say 30 out of 36,
that's taking
it means it has taken almost
85 to 90% of Nigeria. So and we must have a permanent program. It shouldn't be when
the rains are coming.
It should be
this fire brigade
all year round. As habitation is expanding, as buildings are increasing in number, we also have to increase our channels, because more water will be used.
Absolutely.
More refuse will come up.
Will be generated.
That's why you see people in some states, they will say, year 2050 environmental plan. Year 20 plan. Yeah. So all those states should have a plan ahead of how to curtail some of these crimes. We should be seeing it every day now, even before the federal government says. So, and the federal government should take a census. Any defaulting state, Nigeria must know their record, so that at the end of the day, like you have said, it's not going to come back to federal government. That's see our life under Tinubu, see all our dreams under Tinubu, because the government has to say this, the federal government has to say, so that ignorant young people will not start protesting again now. So the role of the state, go and know it now. It is not my role to clear your drainage for you.
Clear drainage. In fact,
11 days of rage, 15 days of rage because of environment. That's why they are. So, and they should not stop at that. They should also proceed. After about 6-7 months, that last year, our compliance level of this state is low.
It's low, yes. And okay, we should take a census.
Yes, it's low.
I agree.
And this year is coming again.
Yes.
It should not be limited to just that saying it.
Yes, I agree absolutely with you. It will expose them. It will make everybody sit tight, because you know that
they may not like it.
There's a board.
Yes.
That they are measuring you.
They are measuring you.
So if you have scored 5% this year,
your citizens will ask you.
Your citizen, you know,
the budget for environment.
Yes, because the budget for environment must be as important as the budget for even any other thing. Because if we don't have an environment,
it must be funded.
There's no place for us to live.
Yes, so. Because anybody that messes the environment will mess it.
Yes, it will take its pound of flesh.
So just like what states used to do, they will put a signpost there. Please bear with us. So this is a federal road. It is time for federal government to start giving it back to them that this is not our drainage.
Yes.
And it is an example of what I think the federal government should be doing.
Yes.
Now. So like Lagos now, if you look at Lagos now, consciousness has increased. Citizens will go out and monitor people who pour dirt, and after the rain, they will go and call a guy that Mr. A has done this. I think
in fact, we've even seen videos where people will take refuse from their homes. Either they are dumping into the canal.
Somebody is recording
and
it.
somebody is recording it.
That's
Before you know,
level of consciousness.
Yes.
They will apprehend
come
the person.
and apprehend the person, and
We want this kind, and that's how laws are protected. When citizens take up law to protect that, no, this is law. This law, all of us must obey it. Either police is here or not. Either enforcement agent is here or not. We are here to enforce that law ourselves. You see, scientists, I don't know whether they are helping us. I don't know whether they are creating more problem for us, because I don't know what they have gone to do in space. And if you ask them, they will say the earth is too contaminated. I see we are moving into another space. And we have information from them too that outside the earth, there's no place that is habitable for us. So I don't know their inquisition.
You are going into
space to go and cause all this problem for us. And that is why it is highly recommended also for African countries to also speak in unison, to accuse
the
West of what they are doing, another developer of what they are doing, that you are part of this creation of this problem. Because when they want to talk, they will say corruption is embedded in Africa. So all these are harassment of our environment too, and the nature too. We have to also give it back. That courage must be there.
Yes, but and you also know that
because America has very low compliance. So
not only America, if the West contributes almost 95%.
But they even pretend.
Yes.
Other countries even pretend about it, and we are doing something. You see,
and that is why you see environmentalists clamoring for climate justice.
Yes.
Climate financing.
Yes.
Because the emission in the
from
West,
them, yes, is so high,
and the way we are bearing the brunt, there is no compensation for us.
Yes.
You know. To
that
be able
is why
to
that courage must be there.
I
for us to make that demand.
I believe strongly.
And when I said America, because it's only America of all the developed countries who say that I'm not interested in climate discussion, because they know the consequence. We have to drag them.
Yes.
We have to drag them.
Like Trump. Like that saying, the guilty are afraid.
Are afraid.
So, because they know when we have.
So why we address it at local level, we address our
human activities.
Yes, we also have to internationalize that
internationalize it. I agree with you. Yes,
we give kudos to the commissioner and the governor for what they are doing.
No, absolutely.
Because Lagos will have been inhabitable.
Honestly, because we did. Okay, for example,
the
rain started around February, March.
Yes.
And I was like, I went to raining. Last year, I was at a function where the federal government was inaugurating dry season farming.
Yeah.
On that day, in last year's February, it rained cats and dogs. So I was like, how can it be raining when we are launching dry season farming? And again, for you to know the climate challenge we have now, you cannot predict, because the weather is such that it is helpful to every sector. It is helpful to the agriculturists.
Yes.
It is helpful to the security agencies. It is helpful to everybody needs that information to know that, okay, the weather is conducive. I can exercise. I can plant. I can do this. But if we have a situation
and this lack of taking that initiative that drags cattle herders away from their place.
Of course, now.
If you want to do cattle business, your state government must see it as a priority. There are things that other states see as this is our crop. Lagos is fish.
Yes.
Yam is somewhere. If your own state is cattle, you must go and learn how to rear cattle without becoming interference to the other state livelihood. I know that it's a challenge to see pastor, but the same challenge you face in Germany, the same challenge you face, they don't take cattle all around. So like I said, that environmental issue has also affected security.
It has affected
because there's enough vegetation.
The food crisis we are talking about is also a function of the
environment and
the
climate.
Security issue where the herders take their cattle to people's farm. It's also part of the climate change, because all the natural habitation that they would have, they would have consumed without invading people's farms, are no longer there. All the rivers have dried up. All the streams
have dried up.
So
and so there's no how the river will be shrinking. As it is shrinking, there's going to be a way it's going to be compensated for in another way. That flood that is coming from Cameroon, the possibility of flowing is shrinking. That's why it must find its way to Nigeria.
Yeah, you know,
And it's finding its way to Nigeria. We call it a deficiency for us, which is not.
It's not, yes.
The corn-nuts are not taking any advantage of it. Our borders in the south are not taking advantage of it. And these are clean water that we should be used to farm irrigation all year round, all year round, just like what Gaddafi has done in Libya.
In Libya. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the federal government has issued alerts on flooding for year 2025, and 30 states, including, in fact, almost all if 30 states out of 36 can be identified as prone to flooding in this year, I think it's a wake-up call to the rest 6 that have not been.
The number kept increasing.
So we just hope that the state governments, the local government, and even we, the citizenry, will play our part in mitigating flooding consequences. Because when the consequences of flood comes, it is not always palatable. It takes away life, destroys livelihood, destroys properties. So it is important for us as citizens to ensure that we keep our environment clean, safe. We don't build on drainages. We allow for the free flow of water through its normal channel as earmarked by the government. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we want to go on a short break. We'll be right back. You are still watching The Conversation, coming to you from TV 360 in Lagos. We'll be right back.